Hey everybody, and welcome to the next map that I'm going to play, which is Dalloni Caverns, which is also the final map in the Dark Space Outtakes map pack. This is the map that is described as a mixture between the two, where it has some custom assets, and it is also a lot wider, but it might feel the most plain out of all three maps. I did say that my prediction was this was my least favorite because just in general I don't like this aesthetic. I will say that on first glance the aesthetic is actually very pleasing because the cave is so big, it's so wide. Usually when we see cave-like maps, they're very claustrophobic, and this is not the case here, which is very cool. And I remember actually, was it in the Dark Times mod? It might have been. There is one map that is sort of like a hangar that is entirely indoors, and it's an XL map, and it really blew me away because I realized that I have not played a map that is completely indoors, completely, it's a secluded area, and that was the case with that map, and it seems that that is the case here too, and it's still so rare that the whole feeling of fighting in an area with a roof over your head is very unique and cool. And does feel different than, for example, the Sarlacc map, or what is the other one that's very similar? Gorgunth? I actually think that the Gorgunth, or whatever it's called, map, I have not reviewed yet on the Battlefront Max channel. Oh, look at that. Anakin Skywalker. My goodness, people, again, after... You know this now, but I'm very much into, like, watching the Clone Wars thing now, and playing this again now. I've been playing Battlefront for so long that I sometimes took a few things for granted. Seeing this now, the vanilla Anakin Skywalker model is horrible. It is absolutely atrocious. It looks nothing like it. It is just awful. I mean, it looks okay from the back, right? This looks fine, but man, does that model not look in any way, shape, or form like Hayden Christensen. I'll tell you this, but as I'm watching the Clone Wars properly now, it made me realize, or think about who my favorite Jedi is, and it's still too early for me to really predict. I know, of course, a lot of the Jedi from the actual movies, but they had super, super short cameos or roles in there. But, I like Luminara, I like Kit Fisto, I like Plo Koon. It's still too early to actually say who my favorite is. Actually, really nice little details here with the spawn points actually not being on the ground, but being against the wall. It's a neat little detail there. Might actually not capture the point, because balance-wise, it is interesting to see how dominant the clones are here. Oops. I like these, like, red little tree things, or the vegetation that is used here. Actually, it might not even be vegetation, it might like be crystals. Map is very simple, but again has enough objects like the rocks, stalagmites, stalactites, to where it feels crowded, and it does not feel that empty. It's just a good solid map. And again, I think that the Outtakes map pack is definitely worth your time. It won't win any, any awards or anything, but it's just good. It's just good. Straight to the point. Well worth your time.
I'm off to more important battles.
A lot of spawn points in this level too. A lot of them are close, and you can actually see now that I was talking about how we dominated, and the droids actually took it back a notch. Again, as with the two other maps, very well playable with AI. They're not getting stuck. This is another one that is infantry only, yet it has a very different feel from the, the corridor and hallways from the tech center map. Oh dear God, look at this! We're getting our asses handed to us now. Very interesting, very cool. I won't lie, and this might surprise you, but in the end, the map that might be my least favorite might actually be the grass plains one. Even though aesthetically that is indeed my favorite, gameplay-wise, it got a little bit stale after a while, or went on for a long time. That's not the case here. The action is fast-paced, and again, I cannot put my 2 cents on it, what it is between EA's Battlefront and this Battlefront, to where this is again very much more fast-paced than, you know, your vanilla map or most of the modded maps, and yet it doesn't feel as chaotic or rushed like EA's Battlefront 2. It's just something about the whole speed of the match, the feel of the weapons, the feel of the characters.
Let's get on with this.
Our second wave of troops is being depleted. Falling in behind you.
Oops. There we go. It's also to the point here where, you know, having a hero unit in an area like this doesn't make them overpowered like it did with Sakura. I can tell you probably that Sakura is actually not my favorite Jedi. Not that I hate her, but she's very clearly like the Jedi that has that sort of like sexy sex appeal, which I'm like, yeah, a Jedi doesn't necessarily need to have that.
The Republic is in control of a command post.
That's why I like, for example, characters like Luminara much more, because they're like, you know, Jedi in my eyes always need to be like these wise, you know, these wise masters, which you can ask for advice. They will teach you, they will guide you. That's actually, from the prequels and the original trilogy, my least favorite movie, by far, is Attack of the Clones. I just hate the whole love thing with Anakin Skywalker and Padme, how just really bad that is, where Anakin says things like, "I'm haunted by the kiss that turns into a scar," and blah 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 blah. And it's just, ugh. But I will say one thing. There's one particular small scene that I really like in that movie, and that is when they are on Naboo. One of the politicians there asks Anakin for his advice, and you know, he addresses him as a Jedi Master. And of course, Padme says like, he's not a Jedi yet, he's a Padawan. But the fact that, you know, the politicians, you know, the higher-ups of that planet, you know, reach out to a Jedi, you know, to Anakin for advice, for guidance, is super cool, and I think something that adheres to the Jedi. That's also why that battle, you know, the arena battle is just a little bit too much. There's so many Jedi with lightsabers that just you become numb to it, and so many of them just die to easy battle droids. It was funny, I just watched the episode of the Clone Wars where two of the droids ask one another, "Have you ever killed a Jedi?" "No, I have not." "Have you?" "No." And I was like, there have been battle droids, B1 battle droids, at the Jedi arena fight and Geonosis that have killed Jedi. They must get all the robot pussy after they did that. Like, they'd never had to buy a drink again at the robot bar after that. There we go. Oh god. So coming back to the map, it's just really nice. It's good, straightforward. Probably my favorite one is Tech Center. Even though that map actually, like, you get to know in just a few seconds, or minutes, I should say. It is aesthetically pleasing, gameplay-wise very fun. You know, that old school Dune Quake vibe. This definitely is not that. I don't know if you can compare this with anything with in terms of its map layout.
Our second wave of
Oh, we died. Okay. Anyway, guys, if you want to download the map, you can find the link in the description down below. Don't forget to let me know any recommendations or requests on maps or mods you want to see on the channel. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.